Bibat, the Vice President Technology of DevCon, to give us a talk about things IT undergrad should know but don't. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Hello. Full screen. Full screen. Anyway, sabi nga ako ay VP for Technology ng DevCon, but I'm here right now, I'm not as VP for Technology of DevCon. Dito ako as a developer. Your average developer, isang panganayong developer lang. As mentioned nga kanina, kaming mga developers rito, we're not really that special. When you graduate at gusto nyo tumuloy sa IT course, in a couple of years, you will be just like us. Hindi rin kami ganun kagaling. Ang tataon lang na we have a couple of years more experience than you. But in the end, hopefully, in a couple of years, you would become like us. And right now, I'm standing in front of you just like another developer. Kaya nga, ang talk ko rito is yung mga misconceptions ng mga IT undergrads, IT students about the IT field, pero hindi nila alam. Kasi yun nga, misconceptions, nadadaan sa mga stereotypes and all that. So, for the next, I don't know, 14, 13 minutes, didiscuss sa inyo ang mga dapat yung malaman before kayo lumabas rito na kailangan nyo nang linawin. Anyway, so first, purpose. Yan, hindi rin alam ng mga tao yan. Yan yung pinakaunang misconception is kung ano yung purpose niyo rito sa college, sa university. So, ano ba yung purpose niya rito? Well, siyempre may magmimilosopo dyan. Sasabihin nyo na ang reason bakit na kayo nandito is para kumita ng limpak-limpak na salamin. Kasi sabi nga nila, pag nasa ID ka, kung ka lang makuha ng isang may wagang papel, tawag ay diploma, paglabas mo, sigurado makuha ka na ng milyones at mga ganong mga bagay. Hindi yun yung tinatanong ko. Ang tinatanong ko rito is, ano yung purpose nyo rito? Bakit kayo nandito? Anong pinag-aaralan nyo? So that's one major misconception kasi karamihan ng mga tao na pumapasok sa IT, inisip nila ang pinag-aaralan natin sa IT is all about computers. Unfortunately, it's not about computers. CS, software engineering, information technology is not really about computers. Kasi pag sinabi mo ganyan, it's something like saying na yung mga piloto ang pinag-aaralan nila sa piloting school ay mga aeroplano. Or another analogy would be parang sinabi mo yung mga astronomers ang pinag-aaralan nila ay mga telescope. In reality, ang importante sa ating mga IT people is all about solving problems. Hindi tayo dito para aral ng computer. Nagkataon lang na kailangan natin yung computer kasi ang kailangan natin, ang main purpose natin dito sa IT is we need to know how to solve human problems effectively and efficiently using computers. Yung computers mismo, they're not really that much important. Important here is we are solving problems. You might nga, tingnan nyo nga yung IT, there's information technology. Yung information na yun, based on sa information na yun, pinaprocess natin to solve problems. If you look at all of everything na ginagawa na dito sa IT, it's all about managing information and solving problems using that information. So yun lang, kung nag-graduate ka at hindi mo alam paano mag-solve ng problems using computers, yung mga natutunan mo, well, sinayang mo lang yung oras mo rito. Sad to say, pero that's true kasi I've encountered a lot of people na ganyan. Anyway, next. In yung first major misconception, let's move on to the other major misconceptions. Next major misconception, language. Question, ano yung pinaka-importanting language? Java? Siyempre, sinabi Java. C, PHP, HTML. So, hint. Ito yung nakikita ito everywhere. Cellphone nyo, meron ito. Pinakamalaking financial institutions, meron ito. Browser nyo, meron ito. Ano siya? SQL. SQL. Structured query language, ang ginagamit na language para mag-access ng mga relational database, the de facto standard for accessing relational database. So kung nag-aaral kayo ng database class nyo, you will have to understand and you have to know how to use SQL. So yun, ito ERD na to, nakakabigay ito ng mga nightmare sa mga bata. But, reality is, yun nga eh, hindi nyo inaasahan yung question, kasi hindi nyo inaasahan na sagot, kasi yun nga, trick question siya. Kasi inaasahan nyo na answer is something like .NET, yun nga, Java, C, and all that. Pero the secret here is, walang nag-hire ng .NET programmer, walang nag-hire ng PHP programmer, iOS programmer. Ang ina-hire ng mga companies ay mga programmer. Hindi language programmer. Ang inahabol natin again, yun nga, pero problema kasi, when you look at the language, karamihan, marami kasi, hindi man karamihan, marami kasi sinasabi lang, marunong ka mag-PHP, pero ang alam pala nila, ito lang, Echo Hello World. O marunong ka mag-Java, marunong lang sila mag-system.out.println. Okay, marunong na mag-Java, pwede ko na ilagay yan sa aking resume. Ma-hire na ako ng isang Java company gaya ng ONB. Hindi. Ang hinahabol ng mga company are people who can solve problems. It doesn't really matter what language you use or what language you know, as long as you know how to use that language. And yun nga, kung binigyan ka ng problem, say yan, web-based inventory, blah blah blah, or binigyan ka na ng isa pang problem, mobile problem, kailangan meron geolocation and automatic push ng data. Or kunwari, pumunta lang sa isang tech interview, biglang sinabi sa'yo ng interviewer, ikaw, bahala ka, gamitin mo anong platform, gamitin mo anong language, gawa ka ng to-do list app. Bigla lang kung kakamot yung ulo mo. Kasi hindi mo alam. Kasi marunong ka kasi mag-Java pero system.out.println lang alam mo. It doesn't work that way. Kailangan, it doesn't really matter what language you know as long as you know how to use it to solve problems. So yeah, and besides, kung marunong ka naman natuto ka na ng Java, natuto ka na ng PHP, madali na lang yung mga ibang languages din. Especially if you really understand the fundamentals behind the programming languages. In some, hopefully, tinuturo naman sa inyo kung mga concepts yan. And may kita nyo sa lahat ng mga languages, pare-pareho lang yan. Just learn how to use the syntax properly. Okay, next major misconception. Dalawa na tayo. Kung ano yung purpose nyo rito, ano ang importanteng language. Both talagang misconceptions as I've shown to you. Next is credentials. Ito ang, ito rin, nadaanan na natin to is, ayun nga, software development is a meritocracy. Wala tayong pakialam sa diploma. Yun nga, sabi ko, makuha ng diploma, limpak-limpak na sa labi ka. So, kala na, yun yung importante. But reality, ang difference sa mga taong kumikita na malaki in consultancy, in development, and all that, compared sa mga taong walang kinikita, hindi nakakuha ng trabaho, it's not really a matter of credentials. It's more of a matter of skills. So, meritocracy is, yun nga, if you look it up in Wikipedia or whatever, it's yung culture na yun is we look at yung actual skills. Wala tayong makailan kung ilang medal nakuha mo, ilan nakuha mo na Latin honors, whatever. Kung wala kang skill, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you can again solve problems using computers, using the frameworks and the languages that you know. So, yan. How do you build up that knowledge, that skill set? So first off, dito kayo sa college, huwag niyong sayangin. Kasi maraming tao, nakagaling lang sa high school, hindi ganong free. Ngayon sa college, medyo mas free na, nawawalan na, nanilikaw ng landas. So, point is, dito kayo sa college, make the most out of it. Maraming kang magagaling ng professors, you've got mga supportive na mga classmates, hopefully. And yun nga, huwag niyong sayangin. Kung may klase kayo, pumasok kayo at matuto kayo. But it shouldn't stop there. Again, focus on the fundamentals. You can't really go wrong with that. After learning the fundamentals, you have to go outside. Everything else you learn outside the college. Learning doesn't stop in college, it just begins in college. So, how do you expand your knowledge? First off, pwede kayo mag-explore. Amanda kasi sa panahon ngayon, di gaya ng panahon namin na walang internet at maraming mga proprietary crazy stuff na kailangan mo bayaran para matuto ka. Ngayon, you can learn all of these things. These are stuff na maraming mga frameworks, languages, tools na if not free, meron free trial. So you really don't have an excuse not to try them and to at least learn the concepts behind them. So yan. Android, obviously there's free SDK, Linux, libre dyan, and so on and so forth. Next, stay up to date. Maghanap kayo ng mga news sites about mga latest trends sa technology. Pwede kayo punta sa mga events namin, or just go to the websites like say Hacker News, news at y.combinator.com, or some other news like Ars Tech and similar sites. Para malaman nyo na wala talaga kayong alam kasi sobrang out of date na yung nalalaman nyo. Hindi nyo naiintindihan kung ano yung sabihin ng mga tao dyan. But at least that should show you how much you need to learn. And mapupush kayo hopefully to learn those things. Next is collaborate. There are, sabi nga natin, internet available ngayon. It's actually a lot easier to work on open source software dahil dito sa site na to, which is GitHub, where you can upload your code and you can look at the code of everyone else. Kunwari, yung code ng Linux nandyan, code ng PHP nandyan, code ng a lot of frameworks and libraries nandyan. You can actually look at the code and you can actually contribute to that code. And malaking improvement is when you try to work yourself na to go to code on the same level as those people. Kunwari ako, meron akong GitHub repository, doon ko in-upload yung code ko, gusto kong, wala lang, trip ko lang. Then there's also participate. There's a lot of events right now. Maganda nga din sa Maynila, linggo-linggo may tech events. You just have to look kung saan sila. So kunwari, I think last week there were 5 events. Ngayon nga lang, wala yung mga students kasi hindi nila alam. But again, this is one way para ma-discuss nyo kung ano yung kailangan nyo malaman. So, meron mga sites tulad ng WebGeek, si Mike. Ayan, webgeek.ph, yun si Mike, isang co-founder nun. Doon, knowledge events, and of course, DevCon, we have our own events. And finally, to wrap things up, ito na yung last misconception. So, natutunan niya yung first, yung purpose, and languages, and kung paano kayo matuto, at anong kailangan nyo tutunan. Finally, itong expectations. Kadalasan kasi iniisip ng mga tao na yung college is, it should prepare you for college but it will not prepare you for some things outside of college. Ano yung pinagsasabi ko? For example, meron kayong project, napagawa sa inyo coding project sa college. Say, kailangan nyo ito, gawin itong bagay na ito in 1 month. 1 month yung deadline, and obviously, ang gagawin ng karamihan sa atin is gagawin lang niya the night before or a few hours before or whatever. Yun yung usually ginagawa sa college. Then pag-submit mo, i-grade that, and tapon mo na yung project na yun. Yun na yun. But in the real world, it's different. Kunwari, binigyan ko yun ng kliyente, project, 1 month deadline. Suppose ginawa mo yung kalokohan na yun. Biglaan lang nagkaroon ng ganito. Sinubmit niya siya the night before, biglaan lang 2 hours before the deadline, re-review ng user yung ginawa mo, bilang sinabi, hindi ito yung pinapagawa ko sa'yo. Parang nagkaroon lang ng problema, miscommunication sa requirements, and 2 hours before the deadline. So, paano mo yun i-solve? It's actually pretty impossible for a lot of people. Karamihan ng tao, parang kinakain yung ulit. Ito yung pinakamasakit na may encounter mo usually in the IT industry or even in the service industries, graphic design and all that. So, important here is you have to understand that in the real world, you're asked to do the impossible. And not just the impossible, you're asked to do it on a daily basis. Ayaw maniwala, on a daily basis yan, punta kayo sa mga sites tulad ng WTF.com or Clients from Hell sa Tumblr, may kita nyo na talagang yung mga bagay na yun is commonplace in our industry. So how do you solve that? So paano yung manage yun? Well, alanin nyo itong slide na to, bakit ko itong highlight yung human side na to. Ang reasoning dyan is, to solve those problems, you have to develop yung social skills nyo. Paano intindihin yung user nyo, how to solve yung problems yun. So, itong mga impossible tasks, magagawa niya ng paraan in certain ways. First off, pinaka-obvious is, huwag nyo i-delay yung task nyo, try to finish it as early as possible. But in the worst case, kailangan nyo talagang pinapagawa sa'yo ng kliyente mukhang imposible, kailangan matuto ka paano areglohan yun. You have to understand yung needs ng client mo, bakit niya kailangan itong pagawin at that deadline, and how you would manage that. You might not be able to deliver what he really wants, but you might be able to deliver what he needs because you understand the needs of the client. So yun yung human aspect na hindi lang tayo puro computers dito sa IT. You have to understand how the mind works, how to understand yung people aspect, especially when you're operating a team environment. Maraming mga bagay na kailangan, you have to learn a couple of social skills for that. So yun, ito rin, yun nga, mention ko, team environment, maraming mga projects na nagbe-breakdown dahil more of management, social side rather than sa tech side. And you can fix that by having good social skills. So yun, to wrap that part up, sabihin lang natin, no matter how the mainstream media tells you na yung mga IT people, CS people, mga geek yan na walang kaalam-alam tungkol dun sa kanyang social skills and all that. Reality is, hindi ka makatagal sa IT industry kung hindi well-formed yung skills mo. Hindi lang technical, you have to learn rin yung mga soft skills natin. Anyway, that's that. Around 15 and a half minutes tayo, which is, yun na. So, thank you for listening. Itong link na to, yung sinabi ko mga available na groups na pwede nyo tignan. Kung gusto nyo may mga meetups, may list ako dyan sa page na yan. Hindi ko pa siya na-update, puro mga Facebook group lang siya. And if you want to learn more about them, say PHP, punta kayo sa PHP users group, join their Facebook group, and all that, mga ganun bagay. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Mr. Bryan. So, for our next,
May Q&A, questions and answers.
do you have any
Can
questions?
ask 1 to 2 questions. Questions here about the recent talk? About anything. Yeah? May prize. Ibigyan kayo ng freebies.
To ask questions.
Well, okay. No questions? Any questions about development? Kasi intro lang to, lahat ng mga talks natin afterwards will essentially parang follow up lang na sa to. No questions? Okay, kung walang questions, available kami dyan mamaya afterwards, after the event. Pwede kayo kausapin, tanong kayo ng questions kung naiiyak kayo, tanong kayo dito sa akin. Okay, thank you.